Hi, welcome to Sona Motivates. Sona motivates you to eat healthy, be happy, and enjoy every moment. Thank you very much for coming on Facebook Live today, and thank you all of those who watch our videos later. It's always pleasure to hear from you, and somebody has requested us about the stone flower, but we were trying to find out more interesting facts and uses from authentic resources and getting more books to read about it. So that's why we couldn't do stone flower today, but we are focusing on cloves. So welcome to our spice series week 13, and that's cloves. Three usual or you can say unusual health benefits of this spice which are worth knowing. So even if you know the health benefits of cloves, which most of the Asians and probably my fellow Indians have been using cloves all along, but knowing the reasoning will help them use it better and with confidence. So guys, I'll just get my friends and look at the comments. Yes, we are live. Okay, cool. So again, welcome and thank you very much for watching. So guys, do you know the largest share of cloves grown all over the world, almost 40% of cloves are used for something which you won't even believe what it is, and it is a, if any guesses, please type in comment, but it is a cigarette. Yes, it is a very popular Indonesian cigarette called Kretek. And the cigarette contains 40% cloves, which gives the cigarette the crackling sound as they are smoked. So most of the cloves, apart from using for spices and health benefits like using for medicinal purposes, most of the cloves are used for this cigarette. And that was very interesting, which I found out, and I thought it will be very interesting to share with you guys. Okay, so what are cloves? We have seen most of the spices. Some are flowers, some are seeds, some are bark, some are leaves, and today's spice, cloves, is actually the bud. It is the dried bud of the flower. Okay, so, and this is how the cloves look like. Okay, most of us know it. It's in normal, or usual grocery markets, supermarkets. Okay, this is the best quality cloves. The clove, if it is good quality, it has to be bigger, it has to be larger, and we will in a while we will look the cloves from Penang, that is Malaysia, are the best quality cloves. They are very large and longer, and they have more aroma and flavor. Okay, so let me see who is watching. Hi guys, thank you for joining in to our Facebook Live, and thank you for my IG friends for joining. So let's jump into our first health benefit of cloves. Okay, this is very popularly known, and everybody in at least in our household back home in India, they know it, that cloves, it is very largely used in oral health, and especially for the benefit of the toothache. So if it was very common for us that if we as a child we eat wrong stuff, especially the sweets, and if you have any kind of toothache, our grandma will always ask to keep this one of the clove where it is hurting. But we knew that we should use clove when there is some problem with gums or tooth or bad breath. But why? So let's see the reason why. Okay, because cloves contains the oil called eugenol, and eugenol it has those antiseptic, anesthetic properties. It is also anti-inflammatory and antifungal. So what happens is it helps reduce the inflammation in your mouth, and that's the major reason. So cloves contains good amount of eugenol, and it helps soothe your gums or the part that is hurting, that is paining. And as per the study, eugenol is much more effective than the normal painkiller. So if you have any problem with your gums or your oral health, instead of going directly with the painkiller or the counter painkiller, try with the cloves. So you can either have the clove oil at the home, you can just rub it a little bit on the affected area, or you can just put the cloves, maybe 2 or even 1 where it is hurting, just hold it in your mouth for a couple of minutes, maybe 2-3 minutes, and it will start softening down. And when it starts softening down, that's when its oil, the eugenol, it releases in your mouth, and it started soothing it, and it started having the effect right away. So try it if ever you have any kind of oral problem. Try it and just keep it in your mouth for maybe keep chewing for maybe 20 minutes, and you will see the effect right away. Actually, I have a very cool story about, it's not cool for my brother, but I will tell you what happened. We back home, we were very used to eat the fruits with the seeds, like guava. They have those tiny seeds inside, and my brother, once he was trying to bite it, and it was very very hard. It wasn't ripened. It was pretty raw, and he tried to bite it, and one of the seed from the guava, it went in his infected, maybe his one of his teeth. It wasn't it had cavity, and believe just think about it. If you have a cavity and something very hard goes inside it, and it was stuck there, it was hurting him so much. He was crying, and back home it wasn't, when such thing happened and if he was bawling like crazy, it wasn't a problem of that household. Everybody around home tried to come and help, which wasn't helping at all, because then there were needles and pins, and everybody was trying to get his mouth, and it is funny right now, but we were feeling very bad for him because it was hurting him so much. But that's when till we went to doctor, my grandma suggested that everybody back off, and she asked to put a little clove oil which we had at home to just rub on the infected area and put it as it is. And surprising enough, before the doctor can help us take the seed out, it was he calmed down, and it was soothing for him. So that story stuck in my head forever, that it does help. So if you have any problem with your gums or your teeth, or any oral health related, this is the best go-to. And eugenol will come over again, because eugenol has other properties, health benefits, and we will see in a while. So this is the first health benefit, that it is excellent for oral health. Okay, and even for the bad breath. Even last week we saw about the cardamom, but even cloves in many of the households are actually used for, after eating raw onions or any kind of raw thing. You think your mouth might feel, you feel that it smells funny. So just try to eat just put one of the clove in your mouth, and you will have the fresh breath. Actually, I long back I think it's in the ancient imperial court of China during Han Dynasty, no one was allowed to speak to the emperor without a clove in his mouth. So whoever wants to speak to the emperor, they have to have the clove in their mouth, and that was surprising, and that was the tradition. It followed through for a long time in Asia, that everybody used to consume this after at least hold it in their mouth for after the dinner. And not only this, apart from giving the fresh fragrance to your breath, it was like any other spice. It's excellent for digestion, all digestion related issues. It helps reduce flatulence, if any gastric issues, even nausea, and many of the times, even for the morning sickness, the ladies who are pregnant, in the first trimester, usually they have the morning sickness. As soon as they wake up, they feel like throwing up, and this helps a lot. So if they boil 2-3 cloves in the water, and keep that water handy, and as soon as they wake up, they start sipping maybe a couple of sips before waking up. It helps them a lot. And even during night, if they wake up and they keep sipping the clove water, it helps. So basically it is used in morning sickness also, to combat morning sickness. So this was our first health benefit, and now we are going to see where actually the cloves are found. The cloves are actually native to Malucus, and that is a spice island of Indonesia. But the best cloves don't come from there. They come from Penang and from Malaysia. So Penang are the cloves from Malaysia, and those are considered best. And like I told, they are very big. They have more flavor and aroma. And then followed by Zanzibar and Madagascar. And most of the cloves from which come to US are from Madagascar or Brazil. Then cloves are also grown in many of other countries, including Sumatra, India, Brazil, Jamaica, and West Indies. Then the best way to get the perfect or the best quality cloves is to find a very you can say a specialty spice store in your neighborhood, or maybe online from authentic sources, because you never know what kind of clothes you are getting. But as far as I know, it always has a good best. What I have brought from these our supermarkets, they're good quality, they have flavor, they add aroma when we are cooking. So I always have found good deals. So maybe you can, if you are very particular about what kind of clothes you want, probably that will be the best idea for you. And so if you want to your clothes to stay fresh for longer, make sure you grind them when you need them, because as soon as you grind them in the powder form, they start losing their volatile oils. So it's the good idea to grind them when it is needed. I use them whole in biryanis, in pulao, even in rice sometimes. Just white rice, throw into of these cloves in 1 or 2 cups of rice, and it adds so much flavor and aroma. You will feel the difference. Then this actually, I don't have clove oil at all at home. Most of the time I end up using the whole cloves, and I also hardly have used any of the in powder form. But yeah, we do make our garam masala, or you can say curry powder, the special curry powder with these. But yes, we do grind them fresh when needed. Uh, so when buying the clothes, I just now told you that you have to look the bigger one, the fuller one. And maybe, sometimes they just look like sticks. So basically they don't add that much flavor and aroma. Then we are going to the reddish brown are the best ones. So try to see even the color. Not if they are too black, probably they are very old. Then the best way to store them is to store them in an airtight container. Okay, so now we are going to look towards our second health benefits. And just now we saw our first health benefit about the oral health and even the smell, the breath freshener. Then I do see Pratibha has joined us. Hi Pratibha, thank you for joining in. The second health benefit, it is very common, but even a lot of people forget about it when it is needed, that cloves can be used in treating sty. So sty is a small maybe pimple or boil, which is usually which people get in their eyelid, maybe in the down or here, and it is a swelling of an eyelid. It is swelling of one of the. It actually grows near the hair, and it is actually a bacterial infection of the gland, and it usually is at the base of eyelash, and it hurts so much because sometimes it creates pus, and sometimes it hurt. You are not able to close the eye properly, but it's very painful. And usually people do get it when it's in the hot season, in the summer season, because of the heat. So for these, actually you can make the powder with the cloves and add water, and then just make sure you don't put the cloves in the eye, because it will burn. So make sure you put a little bit around, and maybe twice at a time, and let it dry, and leave it there for 2, 3, 4 hours, or as much as you can, and apply it 2, 3 times a day, and you will see difference within 3, 4 days. So clove helps the sty. Of course, these are all the home remedies, because back home, when any of the health issues were there, anything related to health problems, we never were used to run towards the drugstore. It was always towards the spice cabinet. So we are so used to using these spices like these, and surprising enough, hardly we had any ointments or painkillers, because everything my aunts and grandmas were always using, my mom was about the spices, how we can heal it right then and there. Okay, and I do see some of the comments here. Let me check. Okay, so I see Pratibha. Hi, Nisha. Thank you for joining in. I see Neela. Thank you for joining in. Thanks for sharing the love. And oh, Lydia is also there. Thanks, Lydia. Nice to see you. Then, okay, so we can use a cloves on the sty. That's what I was sharing. Now, before the first one, I told about the oral health, how it helps to freshen the breath. It has eugenol, which has all the great qualities. Then we just talked about the sty, how it helps you to heal your eye if there is a problem with sty. And also I told about how it's one of the best spice again for digestion purposes. So not only for the breath freshening purposes, but the cloves are also used for digestion. That's why they always eat it after the meal. Okay, now very interesting that I knew that Indians or even Asians and Americans use cloves or clove powder or cloves in the powder form very often, but I had no clue how French or Germans use, and we are going to just see those interesting facts, how the cloves is used around the world. Okay, so yes, Nisha, you're right, they are excellent for toothache. And she just told we were so used to use the cloves for toothache, and that's what Nisha I just shared, that it is because of the eugenol, the oil, the volatile oil eugenol. It's very beneficial. It's anti-inflammatory, it has antiseptic properties, it's anti-analgesic, it's very healthy, and that's one of the reasons that it's used in most of the even for the during before the surgery. It helps soothe the gums, and even the calming. It's actually used in aromatherapy as well. Okay, so let's see how it's used around the world in different cuisines. Okay, the French, let me tell you, the French, what they do is they stud the cloves with the onion to add to the stocks or stews, even to the soups. Now, why do they do that? Because most of the people don't like it directly coming if any of the spice directly to bite on it, because it just gives too much of the flavor of the one spice, and probably it spoils the flavor of the dish for them. So usually what they do is they would like people to remove it, but in a big pot it's very hard to remove these little babies. So the best idea is the French do is they take a small piece of onion, they stud this clove with it, and then add the onion to the soup, stew, or whatever they are making, and then after the dish is over, they just throw the onion piece out. That's very smart. And when I was researching, and I found this exciting, that I realized what I used to when I was making the baby food for my son, for the applesauce especially. What I did is I used to stud the one of the big apple with this with two of these cloves, and then I used to pressure cook the apple, and the applesauce tasted so good. So after growing up, he still loved to eat the applesauce more than the apple, because it always left the applesauce with the flavor of yummy flavor of cloves, the fragrance, and it definitely added a different zest to the apple. So if you are planning to make an applesauce, make sure you stud your apples with these cloves, and let me know how it came out, because it tastes really good. Okay, so let's move on to, that's why French used to stud the onions. Just now we saw they also have they make home brewed orange liquor, and they have to have cloves in that, and it's made with coffee beans and vodka. Okay, so that was one interesting fact, that interesting thing, that they make some kind of special liquor with the Cloves. Okay. Now Germans are fond of adding cloves to pot roast and other long cooking meat and game. So usually they add the cloves to the cooking of meat. That's how Germans use it. British put cloves in Christmas pudding and apple tarts. And actually, clove is a key ingredient in mulled wine and an element of many other alcoholic beverages. So that was surprising enough that cloves. Of course, we saw at the start that it is used in cigarette, and now we see that cloves are used in wines as well. Okay, cool. And then of course Indians used cloves, and we have our garam masala special spice blend. It does have cloves. Then last week we saw that I think Moroccans use the one of the, let me check, yes, the Moroccan spice blend. It's called Ras Al Hanout. My Moroccan friends, please correct me if I'm wrong, but they also have to have cloves in this cloves in that their special spice. And Chinese also have their five spice, and they cloves is one of the main ingredient in their spice. So um, most of the spice blends have a very important place for cloves in their my cat is right here, and she always comes in when, when we are doing this. And sorry for the interruption, I got distracted. Anyways, so okay, let's go back to where we were. Okay, so the spice blend. So all the spices have these spice blends have to have cloves in them because of the flavor it adds, and of course the aroma as well. Hi Aniket, thank you for joining in. Okay, and now we see last but not least the third health benefit, and it is for the sinusitis, for the sinus infection. We did see that cloves are used for oral health, for toothaches, to help relieve you from toothache. The second one just now we saw is it helps to soothe the eye infection. And last one is for the sinus infection. Again, we are talking about the eugenol. That's the very important oil, or one of the characteristic substance in cloves. The presence of eugenol makes clove a very powerful expectorant agent. Okay, so it helps you soothe the phlegm, and it also relieve the mucus. It helps relieve the mucus from the nasal passages. Now, how you can use cloves when you have sinus infection is, one thing is you can boil water and have and sip on the boiled water with the cloves, or you can actually inhale the steam of the cloves. Now, in our household, it is very common that if you have stuffy nose or even the infection, we try to inhale the steam with either eucalyptus oil, or even last time we talked about bay leaf. That also helps you relieve the phlegm. But surprising enough that we can use these cloves as well. And prior to this, even I didn't know about it, because I didn't know that it helps soothe the cough. So back home, I remember my mom used to give when we had the cough, and it is called dry cough, that you feel like coughing but nothing, you don't have the mucus in, but that time you can warm the cloves on a pan, and when they start crackling, you have to make powder of them and add a little bit of even black pepper. So you warm the cloves and maybe 4 cloves and 5-6 black pepper together, make powder and add honey to it. And if you feel, whenever you feel like coughing, you have to just have a little bit of this mixture, and you will, within a day or two, you will get rid of the cough. So try it. This is the best expectorant at home. And I see Archana joining in too. Thank you very much, Archana, for joining. And heartiest congratulations, Archana, for your book, the bestseller book on Amazon on cooking. She is doing her Indian dishes on Instapot using Instapot, and she is doing an amazing job. And I'm very proud of my friend. So thank you, Archana, for joining in, and post the link here for our fans, so they will know your website, and they will also know where to buy your book. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, and I see Vanaja joining in too. Thank you, Vanaja. Nice to see you here. So just now we saw how cloves can be used for cough as well as for sinus infection. So guys, this was pretty much it about the cloves. So I'll just recap all the three health benefits, and of course for the oral health, for toothache, we knew we knew that we have to use, if we have any kind of tooth problem, we can use the cloves. But why? Because of eugenol and how it helps relieve us from these symptoms. So eugenol has all the it is actually antiseptic, it is anesthetic, it has anti-inflammatory and antifungal properties. So that is the reason it can be help. It is helpful in toothache, tooth problem, as well as for the sinus infection, healing of sinus infection. And then the second one we saw is it can be useful for the for helping you get rid of the stye, that is the eye infection as well. And these were few of the health benefits. But believe me, with cloves, it was so hard for us to put them, only find 3 or 4 and put them together. But we have so many quick health remedies, or home remedies for lot of health problems, like maybe skin, even for acne, or for cough or congestion, or for indigestion, for diarrhea, and all kinds of health problems. And there are so many health benefits. I can't repeat them here, because then it will take at least 1 more hour for to do so. So what I'll do is I'll post all those in the comment section. So if you can maybe have those listed on your refrigerator for the next time. But some of them are the use of more than one spices, so how to use your spice cabinet as your medicine rack. So guys, thank you very much for joining in. It is always pleasure to see you, and this was all about the cloves. And keep posting about what next spice you would like us to explore with you. We are still working on our stone flower, so thank you, Anjali, for asking about the stone flower. And we will soon explore that with you, and we will post all details when we are going to do a stone flower. And keep asking more questions about more spices, and always pleasure to see you Tuesday evening at 7 o'clock for this spice series. And see you next time. Thank you, my IG friends. See you next time.